Inspire with Nendrix, the foundation.
Hey, Embracing Our Community. This is Dr. Danielle Harrison with Your Best Life, and I'm coming to you again with another 5-minute quickie. I just wanted to share a couple thoughts that I have about our upcoming college graduates. So we know all over the country, the spring season, the spring semester is coming to a close, and many of our young people will be celebrating graduation and getting ready for their experience in their careers for the first time. And I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. I'm a hiring authority, and so I've had the pleasure of hiring people, hiring student workers, hiring interns, and kind of watching how they navigate. And in fact, a huge portion of my dissertation for my PhD is about, young people gaining the necessary skills so that they can realize early career success. And so here are some of the things that I want to share without going into deep diving into those different concepts that I've included in my dissertation. I do want to say that there's some really important things that you want to keep in mind. And this is after you've been hired. So we're not even talking about getting hired and showing up for the interview and all of those things. We're talking about what happens when you first get hired. Number one, once you have accepted the job offer, technically you are an employee of that organization, and so they will be communicating with you, making sure that your documentation is ready to go so that you won't miss a pay period, making sure that you have everything that you need for the onboarding process to understand what your first day of work is, all of those things. It is your responsibility to keep track of that communication, especially during this season when everything is virtual. It's really, really important for you to focus on your communication. And so keep whatever email you shared with your new employer, telling them that this is the best way to communicate with you. You need to be checking that often. In the morning, after you have lunch, and before you close your eyes at the end of the day, because there are some important information that you may need. I will say, as you're preparing for these job opportunities and starting your first day, you definitely need to make sure that you have all of the documents that you need to get started. The W-4 document, the I-9 documents, any transcripts that you were missing as part of your hiring process, a blank check for direct deposit. Your Social Security. If you don't know your Social Security number, come on, this is the time for you to start learning what your Social Security. You can't keep calling your mama, asking your mama, what's my Social Security number? So if you don't know your Social Security number, you need to figure that out. Figure it out soon. And have a copy of your Social Security cards, your birth certificate, all of those things. That is really, really critical because that could delay your start date, and it can also delay your pay. So the first thing, though, is communication. Pay attention to your communication. Pay attention to your email, your text messages, all of those things, because there are going to be some critical information. Be on time to your meetings. If you have a calendar invite that was sent to you by your direct supervisor, you need to show up on time. In fact, your supervisor should not be sitting on the Zoom or the Microsoft Teams waiting for you to log in. You should already be in that Microsoft Teams waiting for your leadership to show up. So be on time. If you cannot make it on time, whatever that is, it is your responsibility to communicate that with your direct supervisor. It is not their job to read your mind, to figure out, oh, you must have had a bad day. Oh, it's raining in your area. You must have got caught in the rain. That is not their job. So those are some two really important things that you should be keeping in mind. Making sure that you have good communication, making sure that you are on time for whatever meetings that you're in. And also, when you are in those meetings, be professional. No one wants to see your clothes hanging all over the place in the background. Use one of those background filters so that people can't see the inside of your space, because many of you are, still living at home in your bedrooms, and that's the only private space that you have. If you are living in your own apartment after you graduate, then set up a space, a space in your apartment, especially if your work is virtual, to set it up and keep it clean. That would be the one space in your entire apartment, the apartment that is clean and neat and ready to go for your Zoom. If you are actually working face-to-face in an office and you have your own office space, then you need to keep your office space clean and clear of any mess, any debris, because oftentimes you may have a visit from your boss, come visit you in your office and just want to sit down and chat. And then the other thing is that, public spaces like Zoom meetings or open committee meetings and things like that, it's not an opportunity for you to disrespectfully challenge your leadership. If there's something happening in those meetings and you really want to voice, your voice to be heard, I won't advocate you muting yourself. So definitely elevate your voice so that you can be heard and that you can be at the table having these conversations. But if there are some things that are happening that you feel like, the conversation could potentially elevate to an argument, you never want to argue with your leadership. If you don't agree with a decision that's being made, pull your leadership aside, ask to have a meeting one-on-one, because there's nothing worse than coming into a new environment and challenging your leadership in a way that causes them to feel defensive in a space where they are a leader, and you might want to pull them aside and have that conversation. So there are just a few things that you need to be considering as you're getting ready for your new career. And be patient with yourself. This is new. This is a challenge for you and your employer, because you're new coming into that space. And so you're new to them and they're new to you. But be professional, be ready. If there are some self-development books that you need to read, if you need a mentor, you need to go on and capture that mentor right away. All right. That is my 5-minute quickie. Continue to go out in the community, embrace someone. They're waiting for you. And in the meantime, live your absolute best life. And while you're out in the community, cover up. If you're not concerned about your own health, be concerned about other people. Have a good day.
My La Casa boy, this is my residence. My prescription boy, this is my medicine. The world can be sickening, living in house resemblance. Not to mention the media's effort to keep us in the most simplistic state of mind. Lowest age bracket committing the highest rate of crime.